Hey, what's up? It's E. Shea Smith here, former IBF junior middleweight champion of the world. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Sporting Icons. Cheers.
Okay, so Deontay Wilder is apparently set to take some psychedelic to make a decision whether to carry on with his boxing career or not. It's what Deontay Wilder had to say on if he's going to be fighting again. I'm thinking about doing ayahuasca, which is a psychedelic. That's going to be my decision-making process. Boxing's put a bad taste because of what it's done to me. It's dangerous, it's politics, cheating. I still have love for the sport, though. So that's Deontay Wilder's statement where he spoke to Brian Scott podcast. Don't know what that is. Anyway, now, firstly, if you have to take a psychedelic to make a decision to continue boxing or not, or make a decision in life in general, but in this particular case, that should probably tell you that you shouldn't be boxing. That's my personal view on that one. Now, for Wilder to take some kind of psychedelic, now, okay, I'm not an expert on this. I've never done anything even close to this, okay? Drugs is not something that I've ever been close to, so I don't know if these psychedelics and what kind of different types they are or how you have them. I'm sure if there's an option to have it up your back passage, I'm sure Wilder will probably choose that one. But how you take them, no idea. And what they do, again, I only know about what certain things do because obviously I'll watch the Joe Rogan podcast once in a while, as I'm sure many of you do, where he talks about his own experiences taking psychedelics. His guests have done very similar things. And of course, he gives examples of other people where they will take these psychedelics and be almost transported spiritually, because Wilder wants to go on a spiritual journey, to another dimension, where some people claim to have met the maker, such as God or Jesus Christ or whatever kind of religion it is that they follow. Some people have had full-blown conversations with aliens in some kind of third or fourth dimension, all these kind of things. Some people believe that it's truly a way of going on that spiritual journey, which is, that's the reality. The world that we live in is not so real, but to take a psychedelic, that's the reality. Okay. Now, for Wilder to take this kind of thing, hopefully Wilder, if he does do it, which I hope that he doesn't, but if he does, I mean, firstly, it's pretty bad that he would put that out there in public, because while Wilder has a lot of good fans, of course he does have a degenerate section, the Wildettes. Okay. He does have a section of them who will follow him to the edge of the cliff and jump if he asks them to. So him saying how he's going to take some kind of psychedelics, they'll probably go, oh, okay, I'll do that then. Maybe I'll meet Wilder then. I'll get to touch his tattoos and other places. But this is the kind of people that you're dealing with. So when he's putting these kind of thoughts out there, some of these people may end up doing it themselves. Now, I don't know how dangerous they are or not. I'm presuming it's going to carry at least some form of risk. But for Wilder to do it is a little bit worrying. I mean, Wilder isn't exactly somebody with his feet firmly planted on planet Earth anyway. He does live in some kind of alternate reality at the best of times anyway, such as his Bronze Bomber sideshow. Okay, his alternate personality, where in camp and fight night and all that kind of stuff, he turns into the Bronze Bomber. I mean, firstly, bronze means you finished third, sucker. But he says that he gets the feeling of his ancestors' spirits overcome him. You know, this is a guy who can't stop twerking. This is a guy who wants to be pregnant more than anything else in the world, and all these kind of things. So, and of course, the list goes on. And all the cheating allegations, again, he mentioned how boxing cheated him. Again, he's still talking about Tyson Fury, if Tyson Fury cheated. Again, firstly, as far as the cheating allegations, if you come out with one or two things, okay, that's fine. Okay, because again, it is a very, very dangerous sport. But to come out with the whole shopping list that Wilder done, and not one of them was plausible, not one of them. But to go through them all and actually believe them, and even now, to this day, still believe them, will tell you that he's not the brightest bulb in the box. He really isn't, and he's still coming out with excuses. Again, if he could take some kind of psychedelics to make a decision, then he should probably retire. I don't want to see him retire. I still want to see him fight, say, Dillian Whyte, whether Dillian Whyte beats, loses to, or has a draw with Fury. I still want to see him fight Joshua, no matter what happens in the rematch with Usyk. I still want to see him fight Andy Ruiz Jr., and the list goes on. So, of course, plenty of fights I'm out there I still want to see Wilder in. But if he's not quite there, it's dangerous enough. And any boxer will tell you one of the key things to be a boxer is your mindset. If your mind isn't quite on the job at hand, it's very, very dangerous. And that's when a lot of fighters lose. And it does happen. I mean, I've had experiences with this and that, of course, as well. I'm sure many of you have as well, from talking to professional boxers where the mind just got sidetracked. And it could be something trivial to you and I, but to them, it's big. So if he's going to be taking some kind of psychedelics, I mean, what kind of long-term impact is that going to have? You know? So I hope that he doesn't do it. But as I said before, if you feel the need to take some kind of psychedelics to go on a spiritual journey, which apparently this particular psychedelic is some South American psychedelic brew. Now, when it says brew, what does that mean? Does it mean a drink? Does it mean fluid? I don't know. But I don't know. It doesn't really sound safe. But again, I mean, maybe I'm sure some of you out there who's listening to this particular video right now may well have done things and felt okay about it. Some people have different experiences. Again, I suppose it depends on your natural mindset, and again, how much you take, depending on your body weight and all these kind of things, it would determine your outcome. I mean, it could turn him into a complete crackerjack. I mean, he's not too far off it, is he? I mean, for a grown man to be twerking and say he wants to be pregnant, that's a little worrying right there. But anyway, I don't think that Wilder should be doing that. I think if he feels the need to be taking psychedelic, I mean, there's your answer. Don't box anymore. As much as I want to see him box, I do. Well, so I want to see him box. He can't box. I want to see him try and punch the lights out of the ceiling once in a while whenever he's fighting people. But you should only box and continue boxing if you really want to. It's dangerous enough, as I said about the mindset, it's dangerous enough. Now, okay, with Wilder, okay, he's gone 40-odd fights fighting absolute trash cans. Let's be honest, his resume is shockingly bad. To people who don't know boxing, will just look at the numbers and how many knockouts and go, oh, that's really good, one of the biggest punches of all time. Name me just two fighters that Deontay Wilder has fought that you think maybe a Tyson Fury would not knock out. Would Fury go down to one of the biggest punches of all time? No, he wouldn't. Okay, but anyway, that said, it's dangerous enough. And Wilder, he's not going to come back and take on a trash can. I mean, he probably will, to be fair. But after then, he's going to want the big paydays again, isn't he? Him fighting Tyson Fury, he's been used to getting a certain payday. He's been used to being pay-per-view and being spoken about in the papers and have that fight hype. If he's going to be going to have a fight with Adam Kownacki or a Robert Helenius or a Manuel Charr or someone like that, or maybe a third fight with that walking potato sack with dreadlocks, Bermain Stavern and things like that. If you're going to be fighting these kind of guys, okay, that's one thing. But at some point, he's going to want the big payday. So he's going to have to be knocking on the door of a Joshua, an Usyk, a Dillian Whyte, a Andy Ruiz Jr. and these kind of guys. That's what he's going to have to be knocking on the door for. So it's dangerous, very, very dangerous for him to be doing this kind of thing, in my opinion. I said it's just an opinion. But if you can't stop twerking, I mean, you know, I don't want to see him in some kind of forever coma because of him taking some kind of psychedelic. Again, I'm presuming that he will do the research on it, and I would hope that he does. Maybe he'll speak with Joe Rogan and whoever else and actually do the research properly before you do this kind of thing, because I don't want to see him in any kind of bad condition. Likewise, I mean, I never want to see him hurt in the ring. I'd never want to see him just go off into some kind of mental breakdown. I wouldn't want to see that for him. But I don't know. Listen, you're going to have your own thoughts and opinions on whether or not Wilder should be taking these psychedelics. But I mean, listen, you know, is this something that the Native American Indians used to do back in the day, or maybe they still do in some parts of America, where they smoke certain things and go off into some kind of spiritual realm? Again, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't do these kind of things. I'd be a little bit frightened about doing it, to be honest with you, in case, I mean, firstly, what is it that you see? Are you actually going to believe what you see? Is it real? Hey, how would I know? You know, this world is full of fun and mysterious things, right? I mean, the last thing in the world I want to do is sit down and have a cup of coffee with some green goblin alien thing and actually believe that it's happening, you know? But anyway, we'll have to wait and see what Wilder does. But firstly, he still believes that Tyson Fury cheated. That's the first thing. So that should already tell you that he certainly ain't over it. But if he still loves the sport, hey, continue. but I'd rather he didn't do any kind of psychedelic. You drop your thoughts below about it, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.